Good morning, students. Yesterday we started the new chapter, that is the endocrine system, in which we have studied about 11 endocrine glands which are present in our body. And the first one is pituitary or hypophysis cerebri gland. Pituitary gland, or it is also called as hypophysis cerebri. The structure of the pituitary gland we have studied yesterday, the histology and the two lobes, anterior and the posterior lobes of the pituitary glands, which produce the hormones. The posterior pituitary, which produces two hormones called as ADH, antidiuretic hormone, which is also called as vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone ADH, and the second is the oxytocin, the two hormones produced by the posterior part of the pituitary gland. Now coming to the anterior part of the pituitary gland, which produces about 6 hormones, 6 ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಗಳು are the chemical messengers. The 6 hormones you have to study, which are produced by the anterior pituitary portion of the gland, anterior pituitary. The first one is somatotrophin, which is also called as growth hormone, GH, growth hormone. It stimulates the growth of the bones and the soft tissues. The first point, the hormone stimulates the growth of the bones and the soft tissues. Second point, it promotes entire body growth by cell division. It promotes the entire body growth by cell division. It means that it initiates the cell division of the body. The second one is adrenocorticotrophic hormone, ACTH. The corticotrophin releasing hormone, that is CRH, the corticotrophin releasing hormone from hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus first releases CRH, that is corticotrophin releasing hormone. From hypothalamus promotes the synthesis and release of ACTH by anterior pituitary gland. So these anterior pituitary hormones are stimulated first by the hormones produced by the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus produces the stimulating hormones. The stimulating hormones of each hormone of anterior pituitary gland. And here in the adrenocorticotrophic hormone ACTH, the CRH, that is the corticotrophic releasing hormone, CRH, is released from the hypothalamus, which promotes the synthesis and release of ACTH by the anterior pituitary. So by the anterior pituitary, this hormone, that is ACTH, is synthesized and released by the stimulation of CRH, that is corticotrophin releasing hormone of the hypothalamus. Next point, the ACTH stimulates growth and activity of the adrenal cortex, increasing the output of adrenocorticosteroids such as cortisol. So this ACTH acts on the cortex portion of the adrenal gland and stimulates the growth and activity of the adrenal cortex. increasing the production of cortisol, that is the steroid. Cortisol is increased and it will come out as the cortisol. Next point, it also controls the production of steroid hormone called glucocorticoids by adrenal cortex. It also controls the production of steroid hormone released or called as glucocorticoids by adrenal cortex. The adrenal cortex, which produces the glucocorticoids, is controlled. The production is controlled by this hormone, that is ACTH. Now coming to the third hormone, that is the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. The thyrotrophin releasing hormone, TRH, the thyrotrophin releasing hormone from hypothalamus promotes or stimulates the synthesis and release of TSH from anterior pituitary. So TRH, that is the thyrotrophin releasing hormone, a hormone which is produced by the hypothalamus and it comes to the anterior pituitary portion and it promotes the synthesis and the release of TSH, that is the thyroid stimulating hormone from anterior pituitary. Next point, it stimulates growth and activity of thyroid gland. It stimulates the growth and the activity of thyroid gland. It also stimulates the production of thyroid hormones, that is thyroxine T4 and triiodothyroxine, that is T3. T4 and T3 hormones of the thyroid gland are the production of these hormones is stimulated by thyroid stimulating hormone. Now coming to the next point, exposure to the cold condition, which is a powerful stimulant of TSH secretion, which leads to increased thyroid hormones release and increase in metabolic rate. The metabolic rate is increased and increase in the thyroid hormone release. The cold condition of the environment, which is a powerful stimulant of the TSH secretion. Now coming to the fourth and fifth. Fourth is follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. The fifth is luteinizing hormone, LH. Follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, and luteinizing hormone, that is LH. The FSH and LH are called Gonadotrophins or sex hormones. These both together, they are called Gonadotrophins or sex hormones, FSH and LH. They are secreted just before puberty and gradually or slowly increase. So they are secreted before puberty. ದೊಡ್ಡವರು ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚಿತವಾಗಿ ಹುಡುಗರಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಸಹ ಮತ್ತು ಹುಡುಗಿಯರಲ್ಲಿ ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾಗ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಸಮಯದ ಮುಂಚೆ these hormones FSH and LH, they are secreted and gradually they will be increased. The secretion is increased. The gonadotrophin releasing hormone, GRH, gonadotrophin releasing hormone from hypothalamus, promotes the synthesis and release of these gonadotrophins from anterior pituitary. Here also the gonadotrophin releasing hormone, GH, is produced by the hypothalamus for the promotion of synthesis and release of gonadotrophins, that is FSH and LH. Coming to the next point, rising level of these hormones at puberty promotes maturation of reproductive organs in both male and female sexes. Rising level of these hormones. So these hormones, when they are released and they are raised, then during puberty, which promotes the maturation of reproductive organs in both male and female sexes. In both male and females, the reproductive organs, they mature by the hormones produced by FSH and LH hormones at puberty of the individual, in male and in female also. Coming to the next one, in males, follicle stimulating hormone, that is FSH, along with testosterone, that is androgen, male hormone androgen, stimulates the production of male gametes, spermatozoa. The male gametes, the sperms, are produced by the stimulation of FSH in males. Coming to the next point, in females, the FSH stimulates growth and development of ovarian follicle, that is the female gamete, ova. In female, the ova or the gamete, female gamete, is produced and comes to the maturation by the stimulation of this FSH hormone. Now coming to the LH, in males, the LH, luteinizing hormone, stimulates the interstitial cells of the testis to produce testosterone, that is androgen, male hormone. Androgen is the male hormone, which is also called as testosterone, produced by the testis. And this production of the testis or the androgen in the interstitial cells of the testis is stimulated by luteinizing hormone, that is LH. In females, the LH, the luteinizing hormone, stimulates the ovaries to produce estrogen and progesterone during menstrual cycle. During menstrual cycle, estrogen and progesterone are produced by the stimulation of this LH in female. Both FSH and LH control the secretion of estrogen and progesterone in female. In female, both FSH and LH, they control the secretion of estrogen, that is the female sex hormone, and progesterone. Then coming to the last one, that is a prolactin hormone. Prolactin is also called as lactogenic hormone. Prolactin is the last one, sixth one, which is also called as lactogenic hormone. It is secreted during pregnancy to prepare the breast for lactation, that is the milk production. It is secreted during pregnancy to prepare the breast of the female or the mother for lactation or the milk production. After birth, after the childbirth, it prepares the breast of the mother for lactation, that is milk production. The prolactin releasing hormone, PRH, prolactin releasing hormone, released by the hypothalamus, stimulates the anterior pituitary to produce prolactin hormone. So here also the prolactin hormone is produced by the stimulation of PRH, prolactin releasing hormone of the hypothalamus. So this shows that the hypothalamus controls the pituitary gland. The prolactin hormone is produced by the PRH, that is the prolactin hormone, prolactin releasing hormone of the hypothalamus. Immediately after birth, the suckling of the fetus, the child, the suckling of the child stimulates the hormone secretion and milk production. When the baby suckles the breast of the mother, which gets the stimulation for the hormone production, this prolactin production, and this production takes place. So suckling is a stimulation. Next point, the presence of high level of this hormone in the blood reduces the incidence of consumption during lactation. So immediate consumption is stopped by this hormone in the blood. So in the blood, if the hormone is present, the consumption is reduced. So during lactation, the consumption is reduced. Next point, it causes enlargement of mammary glands of the breast and initiates the maintenance of lactation in mammals. It causes the enlargement. It helps in the enlargement of the mammary glands and mammary glands of the breast and initiate the maintenance of lactation. The lactation is maintained. So this is about the hormones produced by the pituitary gland. I will show the figure once again. So this is the figure of the anterior and the posterior. The anterior hormone ADH and oxytocin. Two hormones are produced. The ADH effects on the kidney and the oxytocin breast and uterus. Now the anterior portion of the anterior portion of the pituitary gland, which produces 6 hormones. The first one is the growth hormone, which acts on the bone and the soft tissue. Second one is the ACTH, acts on the adrenal gland. Then TSH, which acts on the thyroid gland. FSH and LH acts on the testis and ovary. Then FSH and LH again, they act on the ovary. Then prolactin, prolactin acts on the breast here. So this is the figure, and this is very clear in your notes. You please go through the notes, and in the notes the figures are very clear. So this is all about the endocrine gland. That is the first one, which is nothing but the pituitary gland, hypophysis cerebri gland. Coming to the second one, the second gland is thyroid gland. So this is the figure of thyroid gland, figure of thyroid and parathyroid glands, and this is the section of the gland, histology of the gland. So this is present in the tracheal region. This is the trachea, this is the larynx, and these are the 2 lobes of the thyroid glands, and the connection is isthmus. The thyroid gland is the largest endocrine gland in the human body. The first point is, it is the largest endocrine gland present in the human body. It is situated in the neck, in front of larynx, in this portion. This is the larynx, and in front of the larynx the gland is situated. The endocrine gland, thyroid gland is situated in front of the larynx and trachea at the level of 5th, 6th and 7th cervical and 1st thoracic vertebrae. 5th, 6th and 7th, the last cervical vertebrae and the 1st thoracic vertebrae. So at this level it is situated. It is yellowish brown in color and highly vascular in its position. It is yellowish brown and highly vascular. It weighs about 25 grams and surrounded by a fibrous capsule formed by the condensation of the connective tissue fibers. It weighs about 25 grams. The weight of this gland is 25 grams and surrounded by a fibrous capsule. It resembles a butterfly in shape, just like a butterfly. It resembles a butterfly in its shape, consisting of two lobes, one on either side of the thyroid cartilage and the upper cartilageous ring of trachea. Lobes are joined by narrow isthmus. The two lobes are joined by isthmus. Now coming to the next point, the gland is larger in females. It enlarges during menstruation and pregnancy. So in females, this gland is larger and it will be enlarged during pregnancy and menstruation. Next point, the superior and the inferior parathyroid glands. The superior two parathyroid glands and the inferior two parathyroid glands lie on the posterior surface of the thyroid. On the posterior surface, behind the surface of the thyroid, there are parathyroid glands. The microscopic structure shows that the gland is composed of spherical follicles formed by cuboidal epithelium. The section of this thyroid gland shows that it is made up of or composed of spherical structures called the follicles formed by the cuboidal epithelial cells, which secrete and store the colloid, a thick, sticky protein material. A thick, sticky protein material called colloid is secreted by these cuboidal epithelial cells of the follicle, and the thyroid hormones are also secreted by these follicles of the thyroid gland. Coming to the next one, between the follicles are parafollicular cells called as C cells. C cells are present singly or in group. They are present in single or in groups also they are present. These C cells secrete calcitonin hormone. One hormone, the hormone of the parathyroid is calcitonin. One of the hormone, that is calcitonin, is the hormone which is produced by the C cells. They are present in between the follicles. They are called parafollicular cells or the C cells. The arterial blood supply to the glands is through superior thyroid artery, that is a branch of a external carotid artery, and second one is inferior thyroid artery, which is a branch of subclavian artery. So the carotid artery and the subclavian artery branches are supplied to the thyroid gland. The venous blood is drained by the thyroid veins which join into the internal jugular vein. The venous blood is drained by the thyroid veins. Now coming to the hormones of the thyroid gland. The hormones produced by the thyroid gland are, the first one is thyroxine, tetraiodothyroxine, that is T4, containing 4 atoms of iodine. 4 atoms of iodine. 4 atoms, 4 ಆಟಮ್ಗಳು ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಅಯೋಡಿನಿಂದ 4 ಆಟಮ್ಗಳು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿದೆ. T4 ಅಂತ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಸರು. T4 ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೆಟ್ರಾ ಐಡೋಥೈರೋನಿನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಥೈರಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಸರು. The second one is triiodothyronin, that is 3 atoms of iodine are present in this hormone called triiodothyronin. And the third one is calcitonin. 3 hormones are produced by thyroid hormones. Coming to the next point, iodine is essential for production of thyroid hormone. Iodine is essential for the production of thyroid hormone. So for the production of the thyroid hormones, iodine is very must. Iodine content is very must. The main dietary source of iodine are seafoods, vegetables, iodinated salt are the sources of the iodine. The thyroid gland takes up iodine from the blood by the process called iodine trapping. By the iodine trapping process, it takes the iodine from the blood, which comes from the seafoods, vegetables, and iodinated salt. The human body uses, or humans, we use the seafoods, vegetables, and iodinated salt. So from this, iodine is supplied. These are the main sources of the iodine. Now coming to the next point, thyroid hormones are synthesized as large forerunner molecules called thyroglobulins, the major constituent of colloid in the follicles. In the follicles, they are the major constituents, thyroglobulins. The release of T3 and T4 into the blood is stimulated by TSH of the anterior pituitary. T3 and T4 are essential for normal growth and the development of skeleton and nervous system. Next point, they enter the cell nucleus and regulate gene expression, and they increase or decrease protein synthesis. Next point, they enhance the effect of other hormones. Next, they increase the metabolic rate and heat production. They regulate metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. They regulate the metabolism of carbohydrate, proteins, and fats. These hormones stimulate the production of erythrocytes, that is red blood corpuscles. The RBC cells production is stimulated by these hormones. They maintain the balance of water and the electrolytes. They maintain the balance of water and electrolyte. Calcitonin, that is the third hormone, calcitonin. The hormone is secreted by parafollicular or C cells in thyroid gland. Its action is just opposite of parathyroid hormones, PTH hormones, secreted by parathyroid gland. This hormone lowers the calcium level in the blood. Release of calcitonin is stimulated by increased blood calcium level. It lowers the calcium level by acting on bone cells, promoting their storage of calcium. It acts on kidney tubules, inhibiting the reabsorption of the calcium. It is important during childhood when developing bones undergo considerable changes in size and in shape. It decreases the gastric HCl secretion and insulin and glucagon secretion. The digestive enzymes secretion is regulated by this or decreases the gastric enzymes like HCl secretion, insulin and glucagon secretions. So this is about the thyroid gland. So tomorrow we will take up the parathyroid gland, which is present in the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland contains the parathyroid. 4 parathyroid glands are present in the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is situated in the neck, in front of larynx and trachea, at the level of 5th, 6th, 7th cervical and 1st thoracic vertebrae. So we have studied the 2 endocrine glands, that is the pituitary. The first one is the pituitary gland and the second one is the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland secretes three hormones, T4, T3 and calcitonin. T4 means tetraiodothyroxine, and T3 means triiodothyronin. Both are called thyroxines. And the third one is calcitonin. So this is about the thyroid gland. Tomorrow we'll take up the parathyroid glands. Thank you very much.